Hello and welcome to Youngstown Playlist, a show dedicated to highlighting local musicians right here in Youngstown, Ohio. Today's musician is armed only with a guitar, but don't let that fool you. He still puts on a great show. Here is Leo D'Angelo.
She's the one with the red hot smile, more tempting than a windowsill pie. I said, rumor has it, she's too damn wild, but I come too far not to walk through the valley of death. She got looks that will blow your mind, your eyes swimming like you drank some shine. She keeps on saying, I'm too damn kind, but I come too far not to walk through the valley of death. She's the one with the angel eyes, all dressed up in a killer disguise. She's queen of hearts and man's demise, but I come too far not to walk through the valley of death. It won't take long to figure out with the bend upstairs what she's all about. Product of sin, there ain't no doubt that I come too far not to walk through the valley of death. 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 She's the one with the Chelsea grin. She'll put poison in your tonic and gin. Don't know the start or where to begin, but I come too far not to walk through the valley of death. It won't take long to figure out with the bend upstairs what she's all about. Product of sin, there ain't no doubt that I come too far not to walk through the valley of death. 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 She's the one with the red hot smile, more tempting than a windowsill pie. I said, rumor has it, she's too damn wild, but I come too far not to walk through the valley of death. She got looks that will blow your mind, your eyes swimming like you drank some shine. She keeps on saying, I'm too damn kind, but I come too far not to walk through the valley of death. It won't take long to figure out with the bend upstairs what she's all about. Product of sin, there ain't no doubt that I come too far not to walk through the valley of death. Through the valley of death. Through the valley of death. Through the valley of death.
Talk a little bit about your background with music. What got you into it?
My dad plays music, so it kind of started there. He was like self-taught musician. He didn't really do too much with it. Just kind of played in bands throughout his life. And then when I turned 8, he handed me a guitar and said, go teach yourself. Yeah. And he showed me a few chords here and there, and as much as he knew. I mean, he's definitely a good guitar player, but he wouldn't be able to. He wouldn't be like a teacher, He was self-taught, so like the theory isn't there. So he just kind of handed me a guitar and said, go ahead, learn it. And there's a couple chords. And then, it takes a lot longer maybe than like taking like lessons from somebody or whatnot, but it was still, I think he kind of gave me some originality. Yeah. I hope,
Yeah. It's interesting how many musicians you hear weren't actually taught. They just kind of picked it up and that kind of adds to their sound.
Yeah, most of the time I enjoy that I was self-taught, but at the same time, I've seen people who didn't just start playing and then they were like amazing, and I was so happy they took lessons because they were so good, and it was great to hear them.
What's your songwriting process? Are you a music first? Are you a words first?
I'm a music first. Really? Yeah, and I have been asked that before, and when I write lyrics, I might have them off to the side, but I really like writing like one-liners, like just something that really just like catches the ear, or something that makes me like happy to hear, ironic in a way. So maybe I'll write down some one-liners here and there, but other than that, like it'll be like I have to write the music first and then try to come up with a melody, and then I'll put the words to it. But I'll try to pull from those one-liners. Maybe I have like a book or something. Maybe I just wrote them in my phone, just whatever I could. But I really like writing maybe like one-liners and stuff like that, or just something to go into the music, but the music definitely comes first. Yeah.
You're kind of working on recording. So tell us about that, how you got into it, how that process is going for you.
Yeah, I started recording in the studio recently, working on like an EP, I call it an EP, but we're doing like, we already have 6 songs and we're working on more. I'm trying to bring in a few local musicians too. I'm doing most of the guitar and vocals, and have a few drummers coming in and maybe some bass, and I'm doing some other parts too with like a banjo and whatnot. But I'm really excited to be in the studio. It's a great experience. I couldn't stress enough how fortunate I feel that people have been booking me for all these shows, because in reality I don't have anything really recorded that they get to hear. I'm doing it out of necessity because I want to share my music with more people, not even just on a digital or recording format, but because I want to go out and play live for more audiences. I mean, I love playing Youngstown, don't get me wrong, but it'd be nice to branch out and come back and do all that.
Would you ever think about kind of like grouping with the people you're recording with and kind of go off and make a band, or are you pretty like content with your status as just like a solo act? Right?
No, it always comes up. I mean, I play acoustic out of necessity. At some point I wanted to play music and I was writing songs, or even if I was just doing covers at that point, I didn't have anyone to play with, just because it was hard to find musicians that wanted to do it on a consistent level. Like you'd have them for maybe a couple weeks and you'd play, and then you lose interest, or maybe school got involved, or life, or whatever growing up, Every once in a while someone I play with at a show, or maybe they saw me play, approaches me, and there's always that temptation there to like start like in an electric blues band or something like that. Yeah, I still get to jam with some people. I've been really fortunate where I have an outlet for it, but there's always that temptation there where like, why don't we just add a bass, and why don't we add an amplifier and some distortion on this song, and it would totally be a whole different animal. But I really enjoy doing the folk blues style that I'm doing, so sometimes it's a challenge. But normally, I want to stay true to that, just because there's always other bands that I could be in, or do this or do that, and maybe I will, maybe I won't. But the music I'm writing right now, even though I have other aspirations maybe, the music I'm doing right now I love more than anything.
Where can we find out more about you, your music, your contact?
I do most of my advertising on Instagram, actually.
Okay.
_Leo_official_. Because all the good ones are taken.
Yeah, they always are.
I'm also on Facebook as Leo D'Angelo Music. I'll be on there, and I post all my shows and all the events, and I'll post a song here and there. Hopefully by summer I'll have an album for everybody.
Yeah.
That's the plan. iTunes are available, so hopefully soon.
That's our show. I want to thank Leo D'Angelo for playing and talking with us. A huge thanks to everyone at Suzie's Dogs and Drafts downtown location, and thank you for watching. Be sure to like and share this video, and like our Facebook page. See you next time. Do you have any like memorable live performance stories? Anything that happened that really sticks out to you?
I mean, there's always stories.
Yeah, that's true.
You're playing in front of a bunch of people, or at least a handful, so they're always something. I was playing with Pat Majernik for the first time, the drummer. It was our first show we ever did together. We only had a few practices before. And we went down there and we did a show, and it was just, the sound was on, it was perfect. The sound guy was great. And we didn't know a whole set. We did maybe 11 songs, and it was just a blast. Like, I felt like I was really having fun. That's how it should always be. I was just dancing all over the stage. I had a lot of room for activity. So it was good. I mean, I had a blast. That was one of my favorites of recently.